Good morning, everyone. I think we're almost all in. Desmond, you got everyone in?
Yes.
Okay, and recorded just started, so we'll hand it over to Paige.
Okay. All right. Good morning. I'm calling to order the 2023 Together SC annual meeting. I'm Paige Stevenson. I'm the President and CEO of United Way of the Piedmont. My role here today is as the board chair for Together SC. So glad that you've been able to take time and make this a part of your wonderful day, midweek rather. And the purpose of today's meeting, number one, this is a compliance thing. This is part of what our bylaws call us to do. It's also because we want to make sure that we're being transparent with our members, and then to share the wonderful work that is happening across this network so that you can be proud of what we're able to accomplish together. I hope that you will be inspired by the information shared with the peer network facilitators and leaders. Some great work that is occurring there. And before I turn things over to our sponsor, I do want to thank our board members. If y'all will advance one so that we can see. This is the group that has been giving their time this past year to lead this organization and work with the wonderful Together SC staff. And today's meeting is being sponsored by Clay Grayson. Clay is a member of our consultant collaborative. He is a former board member for Together SC, and he is also our pro bono general counsel, which we greatly appreciate. And just as a reminder to you, this meeting goes until 9:15, and if you stick around till the end, there's a drawing, and so we want to make sure that you're able to win the prize, which is summit registration for next year, but you have to be present to win. So with that, I will turn it over to Clay. Thank you for your sponsorship.
Thank you, Paige. Welcome. Good morning. Welcome to the May 17th, 2023 annual meeting of the membership of Together SC. My name is Clay Grayson, and as managing partner of Grayson Law Firm, I'm pleased on behalf of the firm to sponsor this annual meeting and to welcome you this morning. Located in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, Grayson Law Firm is a business law firm providing services across the entire state of South Carolina and beyond. We are dedicated solely and exclusively to work with nonprofit organizations. We only take on nonprofits as clients. And I think as a result, our attorneys and legal professionals have developed a firm that we hope caters to and serves the unique needs of the nonprofit sector. If you'd like to learn more about us, you can visit us through the consultant collaborative directory at Together SC or our website, graysonfirm.com. I owe a huge debt of gratitude to Together SC and so many of the friends that I've made here over the years to have the confidence to shift my firm to work exclusively with nonprofits. I think I first came to a Together SC event in 2006 when the organization was still called Scampo. And over the years, I've just gained so much knowledge from the programs and events. And more importantly, I've gained so many colleagues among you that I'm grateful to call friends. Madeline and her team work incredibly hard to put together one program after another, bringing together so many voices as allies for good. And today, we turn our attention to fulfill Together SC's responsibility as a nonprofit organization, gathering together to review its performance over the last year and to look to the future. We speak so much of best practices and good governance of nonprofits, and today is that occasion for the organization to fulfill its fiduciary responsibilities, to engage in transparency, accountability, and information sharing. And with that in mind, as a lawyer, this is the kind of day that I live for. So it's my real pleasure on behalf of Grayson Law Firm to welcome you to sponsor this meeting and to continue our partnership with Together SC. I wish everyone a wonderful meeting. We've got some great speakers. Let's have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, Clay. And as Clay mentioned, we have lots of speakers today. We've got what Madeline has termed our rapid fire agenda. As you will see, we'll be hearing from speakers from a national perspective, but you will also be hearing from committee chairs, from the Together SC board, as well as the peer network leaders. And then we will hear from some of the staff on some of the exciting programs and updates that we have happening across this network. So first on our agenda today, we have a special treat so that we can get a national update. We have Tim Delaney with us. Tim is the president and CEO of the National Council of Nonprofits, which is the leading resource and advocate for America's charitable nonprofits. NCN is the largest network of nonprofits in North America, and it connects more than 30,000 organizations. He's a seasoned attorney and policy advocate who has successfully argued in the U.S. Supreme Court, testified before Congress, and negotiated in the White House. The Nonprofit Times named him as Power and Influence Top 50 Nonprofit Leaders in the country 10 times, most recently last year in 2022. So welcome, Tim. Thank you for taking time to talk to us about the trends across the nation as it relates to nonprofits.
Great. Thank you, Paige. And thank you for your service on the board and as board chair. I know that that's an extra heavy load. And so thanks as well to your colleagues on the board. And I also thank Clay for his sponsorship and the unique way that his firm focuses on charitable nonprofits. I'm delighted to join you all today because I'm bringing two messages to you. The first message is good news. And that good news is you are not alone. You are there with Together South Carolina. And as you all are working together, if you're here at the annual meeting, that means that you are a member. And so you get the benefits of all of your colleagues. And that also means that you are automatically a member of the National Council of Nonprofits. So you are part of this vast nationwide system. And it's not only coast to coast and border to border, it actually goes up into Canada now. And it's a way for you all through Together SC to get information, to see the latest trends, to be able to look across state borders at public policy issues that are happening in different parts of the country that could be heading to you all, and then learning which arguments were successful in either pushing back against bad legislative proposals or bringing in the good legislative proposals. It also means that you all are getting access to your peers in Montana and Florida and Arizona, and again, all the different states to learn the latest in terms of organizational effectiveness, employee well-being, and on and on and on. So you're not alone. You get colleagues out there across the country who are fighting the same good fight that you are to take care of people in your local communities. Because at the end of the day, it's not, our view is it's not about the National Council of Nonprofits. It's not about the state associations of nonprofits. It's really not even about nonprofits. It's about the work getting done in local communities. And that's what nonprofits do. We should all be celebrating the ability to do that day in and day out. My second message is a gigantic thank you, because you make this network stronger. You do that through your leadership. It's just constantly amazing to me how Madeline and Ben and their team are always able to be on the cutting edge and developing new ideas and approaches. For example, on diversity, equity, and inclusion. We were looking to South Carolina at some of the early work that you were doing so we could spotlight it and get the other state associations to say, hey, that's exciting. We need to be importing this into our states. So you've helped make it stronger. You make it stronger because we have Madeline, who serves on our national membership committee. It is stronger because you all are doing other cutting edge things like your new salary report and the salary survey and the report. And I had staff yesterday just blowing my mind with the different questions and the different ways that the information was presented that no one else in the country is doing yet. And so you all, we're going to be showcasing that at our own national gathering in June. So you all are constantly out there on the cutting edge. Ben was kind enough to step forward as the leader he is and provide support for all the COOs across our network and gathering them into a cohort and helping them develop some foresight on some key issues. And so my overall messages are you're not alone. Thank you. And then we'll just close with this visual. This is our network of nonprofits. Nonprofits are usually slammed into different silos. Here's the healthcare silo, environmental, faith-based, or we're shoved into our different geographic zones of here's a silo of Hawaii and here's South Carolina. But what if we could have a network where we could sling information around and help everybody have access to the same information, to be on the cutting edge, to deliver those services and bring joy and happiness to communities and the individuals across your state and across the country. So Together SC, thank you for what you do to make our network stronger. I hope the rest of your meeting is very positive. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Tim. We appreciate your inspiring words to kick us off this morning. And I just want to remind everyone that we want this to be as interactive as possible. So if you've got questions or comments, we've saved some time at the end of the agenda. So make sure that you drop those into the chat and we'll be looking for those. Next up, we will be hearing from Sherry Snipes-Williams. She is our Together SC Treasurer and Finance Committee Chair. Her day job is the CEO of Charleston Promise Neighborhoods. This is going to be the financial report so that you will see what good shape your member organization is in. Sherry?
Good morning, Paige, and good morning, everyone. I will report on the fiscal year 2022 audited financial statements. Our revenues for Together SC were $882,112. Expenses were $769,031 with an increased net assets of $53,081. Our fiscal year 22 audited financial statements and our Form 990 are posted on the Together SC website. The total member organizations as of today are 766. There have been no increases in our membership dues. Whoop, whoop. And to sign up for auto pay when you renew your online, for your membership dues, you will receive a 10% discount off of next year's dues. So thank you so much for your membership and support. And also thank you to our donors and to the staff for continuing to monitor expenses. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Sherry. Next up, we will hear from Erica Kirby, who's chair of our governance committee.
Paige, good morning, all. I'm happy to be here, and I love, Tim, the analogy of all of us networking together. And so in the spirit of that, and on behalf of the Together SC Governance Committee, we will first be introducing our board officers for fiscal year 24. First, Paige Stevenson, President of the United Way of Piedmont, has been reelected chair for the board of directors for a second term. Dr. Sean Edwards of Solutions by Sean Edwards has been elected as vice chair. Sherry Snipes Williams, who you just heard of, as CEO of Charleston Promise Neighborhood, has been reelected as treasurer for a second year. And Monroe Free, CEO of Habitat for Humanity of Greenville, will continue as immediate past chair. On the slate and slide in front of you, we have our proposed recruitment, or as Together SC Governance Committee, we have been developing a multi-year recruitment plan. And this has been an evolution. I certainly appreciate the Governance Committee's participation, Madeline, Ben, and team, and the staff, their participation in really mapping out a different approach to recruiting. And this is something that as the board, we try to lead through policy and example. And so we are developing this in the intent and interest to share that with member organizations. Of just kind of thinking differently about how we approach recruitment and governance, not only for the board of directors, but our committees and then peer networks. So as we look at proposed slate, we have 3 individuals that will be reelected for a second term. And those include on the bottom of your slide, Nicole Eccles, Director of External Affairs for Hope Health, Amanda Lawrence, Senior Director of Innovation and Partnership for Strive Together, and Ann Warner, CEO, Women's Right and Empowerment Network. And then on the top of your slide, we have 3 nominees to serve as the first term on the board of directors. So their term would end 2026. We have Don Dowden, COO, Homes of Hope, Andrea Tucker, CFO, Children's Trust of South Carolina, and Stig Rasmussen, Compliance Manager at Fact Forward. So if you recall the process that we are bringing to you as members, we're presenting them the slate today. There will be an email process for members to vote. And typically this goes to the executive director or president of the member organization. The email will be sending out, and I believe it may have just hopped in the chat, or it will be available again to the primary contact of each member organization. The ballots will be open until May 31st. So we certainly appreciate your participation in voting. We are excited about the renewals. We are excited about the board and officers, and we are certainly excited to introduce these new members to the board of directors pending the membership approval. We also want to recognize some additional individuals for their service. And so Paige and I are going to tag team this with a special appreciation for the much input, expertise, and value that these individuals bring in providing governance and guidance to Together SC. Paige, I'll turn it over to you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Erica. And just so you will know, if you're interested in board service, I will mention that all 3 of our new board members all came through our peer networks and their involvement there. So that's a great way for others to get plugged in, and it's a great pipeline to the board. I will say that I have thoroughly enjoyed working with Robin and John and Melanie. They have been wonderful board members, have given so much of their time, and we are extremely appreciative of Melanie having served as board chair as well, and as an enticement to keep them engaged for even longer. You have free summit registration for 2024, so we hope to see you in North Charleston. And with that, I will turn things over to Madeline and the leadership team chairs for the peer networks to talk about the great work that is being done there.
Thank you, Paige, and thank you, Erica. That was very well coordinated. I'm impressed. We are going to share with you some ideas that we have for building upon the work of the last 3 years, that has been done by our peer networks. And we have to start by thanking the leadership of those peer networks, both the leadership teams and their chairs, from whom you're going to hear today, and the facilitators that have worked with us for the last 2 years. If you'll recall, we started in 2019 with our advocacy allies and our Black Nonprofit Leaders Group. And then we added the volunteer administrators, a development network, one for folks in operations, one's for folks working on equity issues, and then our consultant collaborative. So many thanks to the leaders and facilitators for the work that you have done these past 2 years. We have had more virtual and in-person training especially for nonprofit staff than we've ever had before. I also want to mention that our CEOs, while not as active with a leadership team, have had a listserv now for 2 years, and we have nearly 200 members on that CEO listserv. If you're a CEO and you're not on that listserv, please consider joining, because what we have found, and I don't want to steal the thunder, but you will recall that we hired Zinger Strategies to do an evaluation of our peer network. And I want to share briefly what they found. But first, I think that you've got the slide up showing everyone that is with us today and talking, and just want to be sure to thank them all. But then, Ben, if you've got the slide for there we go. The key finding that we had from the ZKD study, it can be captured in this slide. When we asked people why they decided to sign up for one of the peer networks, 93%, that's basically 100%, guys, said that what they wanted to do was exchange ideas and information with their peers. Another 60% said relationships with their professional peers was important. Only 49% said they wanted to attend professional development opportunities. And yet we have focused on providing events and training for the last 2 years. And so coming out of our board meeting, our annual board retreat, and talking to our peer leadership teams, we are proposing a pivot this year. And we want to propose that we ask the leadership teams of our peer networks to focus on building that intentional network and works. So Ben, if you go to the next slide, please. Oops, there we go. So this year, we're going to focus on the exchange of ideas and the building of the network, and less asking them to do the events. And yes, it is a somewhat archaic tool, but for now, we are going to build upon what we learned with the CEO network and create listservs for each of the peer networks. And we will be asking our leadership team members to help facilitate those conversations and the exchange of ideas there. And then the staff will focus on the in-person learning events and other activities, building upon the recommendations coming out of the leadership teams. Our goal is to give you programming heads up 2 months in advance so that you can plan ahead for what you want to be part of. So with that, I'm going to ask each of the peer network leadership team chairs to share with you what's happening in their network, hoping that you will use this as a chance to join their network, share their network with your other colleagues. So I think Nicole, you are first up. There you are.
Good morning. Just wanted to share with you, I'm Nicole Eccles, and I have had the pleasure of serving as the Black Nonprofit Leaders Chair. We were founded in about 2019 by a group of us who just sat together in one of the summits and decided that this was something that we were passionate about. And with the support of Madeline and Together SC, we gathered a group of us for Black Nonprofit Leaders and decided to kind of have content. We were one of the very first peer networks, so we kind of paved the way and had some bumps in the road and some learning curves, but for the most part, we've had great content, and we have a great group of committee members: Les Eccles, Letitia Dowling, Tremise Carter, Joyce Ford, Anitra Hardy, Sherry Snipes Williams, Travis Wharton, and of course our facilitator Jessica Sharp. And also we get support from Together SC to do all this great work from Desmond A. White. We know that working together, our mission as Black nonprofit leaders is to create spaces in order for Black nonprofit leaders to share and network and connect and partner and figure out ways to navigate the spaces that we're in every day. We figured there's challenges that we face as Black nonprofit leaders, and being able to have a place to be able to be brave and have conversations and talk about the work that's done and the ways we can support each other is what we've had to do over the few years that we've done it. So we're grateful for the opportunity. Anybody who would like to join us, we are welcome. We also are looking for someone creative and innovative. Jessica has moved on to bigger and better things, and she was our fearless leader who put things together for us. But we'd like to request that anyone here who would really like to possibly facilitate us, please reach out to myself or Madeline. And if you'd like to join us, we have about 223 in our listserv, but we'd love to see that grow. And so if you'd like to serve on the committee, or if you'd like to put in a request to be able to be our facilitator, we welcome that. So I think I've covered all the things I'm supposed to talk about today. Madeline, did I forget anything? No? Okay,
Perfect.
so, pardon me?
You were perfect.
All right, I wanted to keep it short, sweet, and not talk too fast because I tend to have a habit of doing that. But we welcome all to join us. It is a space for Black nonprofit leaders, and we are welcome. And there's a lot of other peer networks and you can be part of more than one if you really choose to. And I really want to say that watching this grow and seeing how this has come to fruition, and the fact that we change as people and we see the needs of everyone else and we go by the recommendations, I will say, as part of an organization that listens to what people want and gives them what they want. I'm very proud to be part of that. So thank you, and have a rest of the morning.
Nicole, thank you for your wonderful leadership. I think Brett's up next.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Nicole, Madeline, board, everyone. I'm Brett Watford, the Chief Partnerships Officer with the Center for Heirs Property Preservation. I am pleased to continue as the co-chair of the Development Peer Network, along with Bryson Young, who is the Chief Advancement Officer for the Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Thank you to Wells Fargo for sponsoring our Development Peer Network for the past 2 years. We are so thankful to them, and also Debbie Romano for their support and leadership. Also, I want to give a thank you to the leadership team of the Development Peer Network, Nulani Bennett, Lisa O'Connell Hall, and Paige Stevenson for your leadership on our team. Also, a big thank you to Heather Singleton, who's helped us build this network for the past 2 years. Alana Jordan will be our Together SC staff contact for the upcoming year. If you have any questions about joining the Development Peer Network, please be sure to reach out to her. Also, there are some wonderful upcoming peer network gatherings for the Development Peer Network, and that is upcoming on June 6th. We have the PD gathering hosted by Hope Health Incorporated in Florence. And on June 22nd, we also have the Development Peer Network meetup at Nonprofit Cheer, hosted by the Central Carolina Community Foundation and Together SC in Columbia. And also stay tuned for a Development Peer Network meetup in the Lowcountry in Charleston.
That was perfect. I think you got it all done, and we're getting ahead of schedule. Ben, who's up next? There's Stig, Operations Chair. And Stig is coming on the board, as we heard a moment ago. If you guys vote him in, Stig, no pressure here.
I know, really. All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank Marsh McLennan for sponsoring the Peer Networks this year. And also want to thank Miriam Dix of 180 Management Group for facilitating and laying the groundwork. She's been an amazing resource for us. She's moving on to other things and moving out of state. So we'll definitely miss her, but we do believe that she helped us set a good foundation for us to move forward with strength and with vision. And a lot of that is thanks to the leadership team. I see a few peers from this team are joining me, hopefully, knock on wood, on the board, Dawn, Andrea. I also want to thank Jeffrey, Spencer, Ben for being a great sort of shepherd for us as well. Do reach out to Ben Bullock. He is helping staff the Peer Network for next year. as we're having 3 of us join the board, we want to get some fresh ideas in there, some fresh blood. We have one more virtual learning opportunity coming up. It's May 24th at noon. It's regarding onboarding and retention. And if you're thinking about joining the Operations Peer Network, it's for staff in finance, HR, other organizational capacity issues, internal policies, compliance, those types of areas. With that, I just want to thank the support of Together SC so much for bringing this group together. And again, to the leadership team for colleagues for being so great putting these events together, and for all the members of the Peer Network for really showing up at all of our networking groups and at the summit and everything else. I hope I covered everything. And if I did, I'll pass it to the next leadership team, Peer Network leader. I believe it's Jeremy.
It is Jeremy. Jeremy, our Volunteer Administrators Alliance leader.
Hello, hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
We can. There you are.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share. Volunteerism is a transformative way to serve others and to do good. Our mission with VA is to be the go-to source for expert information, professional development, and peer experiences to increase and inspire volunteerism throughout South Carolina. I will continue as chair, and the great Mary Dell will continue to provide, per usual, her incredible staff support. We are recruiting new leadership team members and need someone from the Beaufort and the Charleston areas to join our team. We meet 4 to 5 times per year via Zoom, and we plan learning events, opportunities to connect for leaders who work with and engage our volunteers. Do you want to hear about some amazing volunteers? If you don't, I'm going to tell you anyway. Make sure you check out some superheroes we celebrated at the 2023 South Carolina Governor's Volunteer Awards, including Dana of Agape Hospice, and she received the Robin Burns Administrator of the Year. You will remember that there was a crowd favorite, Miss Helen. She was the 94-year-young legend who started volunteering with Spartanburg Regional Hospital in the 1950s. Can you believe it? The 2024 Governor's Volunteer Awards, co-hosted with the South Carolina State Service Commission, will take place in March 2024 at the Together SC Advocacy Legislative Reception. Keep your eyes open. We can't wait for nominations to be open in the late fall, and I release the platform back to you. Thank you for the awesome opportunity, and I look forward to increasing the network.
Thank you, Jeremy. And guys, if you're interested in serving on that leadership team, you can reach out to Mary Dow. There's a contact form on our website. You can reach out. The leadership teams, the directories on the website have links to everyone's email. That's part of building the network, is helping you connect with one another. So be sure to let us know about that. Next up is Patrick Jinks. Patrick is chair of the Consultant Collab that not only was a new peer network, but was a new way for us to engage our business partners who focus on serving nonprofits. So Patrick, will you tell us about the Consultant Collab and what you guys have been doing?
Yep. Thanks, Madeline. Good morning, everyone. As Madeline said, many of us are still familiar with what used to be the business partners of Together SC, but Together SC realized that not all business partners are the same. You have big businesses who are more engaged in maybe sponsoring events. There's a big difference between a solopreneur consultant and a Blue Cross Blue Shield, for example. So the Consultant Collaborative was formed, and Dr. Shawn Edwards and her team got it on its feet and got it running, and then she's moved on to more important roles on the board. So the Consultant Collaborative was designed really, I'll give you 3 things. One, it's named collaborative intentionally. The idea is that as consultants in the state who are working with nonprofits, we want to be in a mindset not of competing with each other, but of collaborating with each other to lift the sector. That's really the point. And so, for example, we're having some conversations. Madeline doesn't even know about all of these. I've been meeting with some people recently. Conversations about how can the Consultant Collaborative, for example, help Together SC on, adding value at the regional level across the state as one of its strategic pillars. So where can we collaborate, work together on projects? Second it is designed as a peer network for us as consultants to learn from each other and to get better as consultants. So about every other month, we have a program. Our wonderful sponsor, Clay Grayson, is actually delivering our June 12th program at 8:30 for consultants. And he's going to be talking about just some of the structure, the legal considerations of starting a consultancy, growing a consultancy, some of the basics. And for someone like Clay to be able to do that with his expertise and success is a tremendous value to us as consultants. And third, the Consultant Collaborative provides Together SC a more close-up view of the consultant resources in the state so that they can be more confident in making referrals or making connections and being able to connect, Madeline and her team hear from you a lot. Hey, who can I reach out to help us with this succession planning or accounting, or we're thinking of outsourcing some of our HR. The Consultant Collaborative allows a more confident and informed resource for the sector. So in fact, your best resource as nonprofit leaders, when you're looking for help, expertise, coaching, whatever that might be, your best resource to start with is the directory, the Consultant Collaborative directory, which you can find on the Together SC website. Go up to Peer Networks, which is on the main menu item, drop down to Consultant Collaborative, look at the directory, and you can search by strategic planning or law or executive development or whatever you want, and you'll see the consultants that are there. So visit that. The Consultant Collaborative is designed for consultants. It's not for the nonprofit leaders to join in as well. Typically, we've made an exception here and there, like for Paige, because she's our board chair. But it is for consultants. So if you have a consulting practice and you're interested in joining the Consultant Collaborative for that purpose, just let us know. Madeline is our staff resource, and our leadership team. There's Clay Grayson again. He's everywhere. Clay's on our team. Mary Del Hayes, Jada Willis, Catherine Harvey, Kathleen Brady, Beth Ellen Holloman, Sharon McGee, Colleen Bozard, Beth Ruffin, and Robin Ezel. So contact either or any or all of us for any information about the collaborative. It's got a lot of potential. We're cooking up some things that I can't talk about yet, but we're glad that there's a space carved out for us in this network.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you very much. And do please, I put a link to the consultant directory. I think we've got something like 75 or 80 members now. I'm not sure, but they're sorted by the type of work they do. So it's a great way to get to know them. Next up is our dear friend, China Phillips. China and the Sisters of Charity Foundation have been such partners for Together SC. And last year, China stepped up to chair the Advocacy Allies that Jamie Moon helped get started. And she's going to give us an update on what this peer network is doing. China, where are you? There you are.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madeline. And good morning, everyone. As many of you know, we started shortly after the Black Nonprofit Leaders group, and we've been around since 2019. Thank you, Blackbaud, for your sponsorship. And also thank you to our leadership team members, Nancy Lee, Naomi Letts, Bernie Mazik, of course, Jamie Moon, Adela Mendoza, Michelle Mapp, and then Emily O'Brien, John Tynan, and Ann Warner. We have a large group. I think Christine is also with us, and Katie Smith as also fellow funders. Since the beginning, we've been engaged on trying to tackle whether or not, how do we increase the nonprofit voice in the space of advocacy. Being around for a few years, we realized that there's some learning curves that we needed to address. And so a lot of our initial programming was focused on 101 work, but then realizing that our 201 and 301 leaders who are more advanced, we were missing an opportunity to continue to keep them engaged. At the end of last year, we got together on trying to figure out what our own peer networks pivot will be. And we presented that to the Together SC board. And so January of 2023, or this year, we are now restructuring so that our programming will focus on helping members to identify other peers working on similar advocacy efforts, Also, we don't want to miss a moment. We want to ensure that our leaders are supported and they're not just speaking to the choir, but we are galvanizing our collective voice as nonprofit leaders to support issues that can either harm or support our work in the nonprofit sector. Additionally, we want to put on your radar in November or December of this year, we would like to hold an issues forum, make it an annual event to ensure that legislative leaders and stakeholders, whether in the business sector or elected officials, are aware of what nonprofits care about. So we will be unpacking how to structure that day. But again, this issue forum will highlight some of the top policy priorities for our sector. And this will be an annual event. So we look forward to your support. We look forward to working with the leadership team of all of the peer networks to get your collective support for it as well. So I will turn it back over. You will hear from our fearless leader, or my co-lead, GP McLear, later on, talking about some wins thus far.
Thank you, China. Thank you. And thank you for all your hard work and making sure that our networks evolve as our members' needs evolve and such. So last but not least of our peer network leadership team chairs is Amanda Lawrence. Amanda, will you catch us up on what the Equity Peer Network has been doing?
Sure. Thank you, Madeline, and good morning to everyone. I'm pleased to share this update on the Equity Peer Network. And also want to start with some thank yous. Thank you to my co-chair, Melanie Huggins, who is not able to be with us this morning. We've certainly enjoyed and valued serving in these roles, and I'm pleased to continue to serve on the Together SC board. I'd also like to share a little bit about kind of the history of the Peer Equity Network and what it means to Together SC. The mission is to increase the collaboration and resource sharing among nonprofit leaders in South Carolina. And equity is also a core value of Together SC. The Equity Peer Network helps us live that by championing diversity, inclusion, and equity for South Carolina nonprofits, which we see as, again, a core value for those we serve and those that are being served in nonprofits. I'd also like to thank our sponsor, Unum, for sponsoring the Peer Equity Network for several years. And thank you to Ben Ruffin, who served as our facilitator for nearly 2 years. We are also looking for a new facilitator and will be issuing an RFP in June of this year. I especially want to thank our leadership team for the Peer Equity Network. They are Alana Stroker, LaVonda Brown, Anita Case, Quinn Hayes, Melissa Moore, Meredith Talford, Erica Wooten. And a special thank you to the 158 people who are on our email list. We did have an event on January 27th at the Richland County Main Library, and thank you to those who attended that. And we're again excited to have Desmond A. White, a phenomenal Together SC team member who is phenomenal in supporting us, as well as the other work that she does in the community. So we're excited to have her continue as our staff contact. We hope that many of our leadership team members will continue to serve. And if you have an interest in serving in leadership for this peer network, or again, in facilitating this important work, please contact me. I will drop my email address in the chat, or Desmond A., whose contact information can be found on the website. And Desmond A., I'll also ask that you drop that in the chat. We are eager to get started, and we'll be using the listserv that Madeline mentioned. And so we look forward to engaging you. And Madeline, I'm going to pass it back to you.
Thank you, Amanda. And thank you all. Please, everyone, give a round of applause to our Peer Network leadership team chairs. Not only did they share the great work that they're doing, but we are so on schedule. So now for me not to mess it up. But what else are we celebrating? Because the Peer Networks is just part of what we do. Well, our flagship program has always been the summit, and the 2023 summit was no exception. It was our largest ever, even though it was sold out. We had over 800 people there, and our evaluation, which was done by the College of Charleston, had over 400 people, I think, complete the form, and we got a 4.3. out of scale of 5, and 43% of you said it was excellent. So we're thrilled that that remains a key learning opportunity for not only the nonprofit professionals, but the volunteers and our corporate and government partners that we engaged this year. So stay on the call, because Sean Edwards is going to be giving you a sneak peek at 2024. And we do have that drawing at the very end for free registration, not only for the hotel, the registration for the summit, but the hotel room. So stay on with us. So as you're going to hear from GP in a moment, I'm very proud of the advocacy efforts that we've done and the strides we've made. May not have achieved all that we set out for, but it's good. You're also going to hear from Monroe about the association healthcare plan that we launched just about a year and a half ago, and it is beaten all kinds of goals. And Ben's going to tell you about the employee benefits that we've been putting in place. But I also want to jump in and talk about the comp study. Ben, if you'll jump to the next slide, please. As Mary Dale couldn't be with us this morning, as many of you know, in last March, we did a survey. We had over 500 nonprofit organizations participate, and we released the findings in October of this year. If you haven't seen that, there's an executive summary on the website, and maybe someone can drop the link to that page. And there's data on somewhere between about 50 positions. If you need compensation data to help with your salary adjustments. But more than that, we have been taking the findings and using them to work with our sponsors and our philanthropic partners who help make that happen. There's so many of them. Thank you all for that. To conduct local workshops. Mary Dale has been in 3 or 4 communities already, helping to spread the information about the importance of paying our people properly and providing benefits. We all know it's a competitive workforce, and if we're going to do good work, we need the best and the brightest, and we need to take care of them. So please, if you're interested in having Mary Dale bring the workshop to your community, please reach out to us. And we are continuing to provide training to help you with that. And next up, on May 24, and again, if someone will drop the link there, we have Nick Osborne. I don't know if Nick's on the call or not. If you are, Nick, raise your little virtual hand, from the Low Country Food Bank. Nick went in, and as large as they are, he still said, I'm going to do it myself, and did a whole elaborate position grading and pay equity assessment that has allowed him to take care of his team the way he wanted to. And we know that not all of us can afford or find the consultants to do this. So this is a do-it-yourself, how to do it yourself on the comp and pay benefits. So I think it's going to be very helpful. Please be sure to join us for that. And then I wanted to let you know that we are not going to wait another 10 years before we do our next comp study, as we did last time. We realize that what you track, what you measure, that's what people pay attention to. So we have partnered with the Employers Network of South Carolina out of Spartanburg, and we are going to be doing our future surveys in conjunction with them. And we've partnered with the College of Charleston, the Joseph P. Riley Center for Livability, to do the analysis of the findings. So you will see that we're going to be part of their benefits study this fall. We think there will be movement on the benefits because that's been such an important focus, and we really hope we'll find that more people are getting at least health care through our offerings. But then we'll do the compensation study a year from now, which we hope we'll see movement on that as well. So please know that we're staying on top of this work, and we want to be your partner and recruiting and retaining great employees. So speaking of great employees, next slide, please, Ben. I want to give a big shout out to our team. We've had a few changes. Debbie retired at the summit, as most of you know, and we're thrilled that Desmond A. has been moving up as our events and program manager. And for since I've been here, our communications and marketing work has been done by wonderful consulting partners, first Trio Solutions and then New South and Catherine. But it's time, guys. We are bringing on our first, possibly ever in our history, full-time marketing and communications director. And it's none other than Brooke Robinson, who was part of Catherine's team and decided she wanted to go deep full-time. So please give a virtual welcome to Brooke. And everyone knows Alana and Ben. You're going to be hearing from them in a moment. But I just wanted to give a big shout out to the team that gets this work done. And with that, next slide, Ben, is advocacy. GP, are you ready to tell us what's been happening in the advocacy sphere? GP is one of our consulting partners. So have at it, GP. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is GP McLear. I'm a founding partner for Pecan Public Relations, and we help nonprofits with their advocacy work across the state in various sectors, as well as communications and some governance and event planning. But Together SC was our first client, and we're still here. We have the pleasure of leading the Advocacy Allies Peer Network, and I wanted to go through a little bit about some of our advocacy wins this year and things that went on. As China said, our fearless chair of the Allies leadership team, we've had a pretty active year, including a really good pivot for us. And hopefully these sort of help illustrate some of that. First of all, this fiscal year, we started by hosting a federal update with Senator Tim Scott's office, specifically around nonprofit issues. The National Council was a part of that as well. It was really beneficial. We hosted our first in-person event for the network since post-COVID, post-election takeaways. After midterm elections, we all got together in Columbia and had a great time with a great panel featuring John from Conservation Voters, as well as a lobbyist and a reporter, and had a great conversation about the impacts of the election on the State House. We also hosted a virtual legislative preview, and we're hosting a legislative recap virtually, which I believe Madeline just put in the chat box, on June 2nd. I hope you will join us for that. And then well, I didn't skip over it. I skipped over it on purpose to come back to it. We also were a part of the summit programming this year. Given that the summit was in Columbia, it was a great opportunity to engage with legislators and also talk more about the policy issues facing our industry. And so we had a really great time helping plan that, and the feedback from that was very positive. And all of that is sort of a great broad strokes of what you might expect to see coming out of the Advocacy Allies Peer Network. Things like China said, focused on 201 and 301 folks, giving some real good meat to bite into, even if you haven't done advocacy before, really diving in on the political process, on policy issues. And then, of course, us helping to provide anybody with resources that they may need, including your standard 101 training. On the next slide, you'll see a few other updates, specifically in the advocacy wins category outside of programming. We had our first legislative reception in about 20 years, actually, probably on the nose if Ben's program history sleuthing was correct. About 20 years ago, we hosted a legislative reception. And so for the first time, we brought that back during the summit. It was well received, very well attended for legislators, especially being the first one, and for this organization, and on a night with a couple other things going on. Very well attended. We had the Governor's Awards presented for volunteers presented during that as well. But importantly for Together SC, one of the things we've done is we've increased the quote unquote capital for the sector at the State House. There are stronger legislative relationships, particularly with folks in key leadership positions, that we continue to foster and work with, and some a lot more closely now moving forward than ever before. We've also had valuable engagement with you, the members who are engaged in advocacy work, of helping make sure that you have stronger access to the Together SC network, that the network knows what's going on, and that we're able to help any way connect dots or get people in the room together. That's been really valuable, we feel like, for the membership. We continue, what's not mentioned here is we continue to work on strengthening the, well, actually it's underneath the closed caption box, sorry, forward progress and stronger connection with the state for the sector. We continue to have really strong conversations with folks like the chairman of Ways and Means about ways the nonprofit sector can have a stronger relationship with the legislature, with the State House as a sector. And those are becoming very fruitful and very positive, and those will keep going forward. We also have done some good federal work, thanks to the National Council and Independent Sector. Representative Nancy Mace and helped co-sponsor a bill called the SEAT Act, which you can read about in an upcoming advocacy update. or go back to your newsletters and you'll see links to sign on to support that. But our own Madeline McGee was quoted in that release on the Representative Mesa's website. We've been able to help push that out and get a lot of low country organizations to sign on to show their support. And I'm not going to go into the bill, everything that it does, but it does provide some structural, much like we're asking for at the State House, some better structural relationships between the nonprofit sector and the federal government more broadly. So I encourage you to look into that. So overall, like I said, I think the biggest win for us is increasing the capital for the sector and having stronger access at the State House and a better understanding for our members of how to navigate it and get their own wins that they can share. And I believe that's the end of my update. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out or join the Advocacy Allies peer network.
Perfect. Thank you, GP. And one of the reasons Together SC is able to do so much is because we do lean on and engage our consulting partners. And I'm proud to say that we were Pecan PR's first nonprofit consultant, maybe their first client, ever. And we are thrilled to be continuing to engage them, not only in our advocacy, but GP and his team will be helping with the 24 Summit, as will the wonderful team of Shirani Patterson, who you may have met at the summit. So we love our consultant partners who help us get things done. Now, Monroe is up next. He is going to be as a member of the trustees for our association healthcare plan that we started in January of 2022. So Monroe Free, will you give us an update on how the association healthcare plan is doing?
So first of all, let me say how much I appreciate Together South Carolina. All the other areas of my life I'm referred to as a has-been, and Together South Carolina, I'm the immediate past president. It's much nicer. So the AHP, by anybody's estimation, has been a great success, and I need to first, for that success, thank the other trustees, Naomi Lett, Christopher Nicholas. They have contributed, worked alongside Benjamin to make this successful. We started out with AHP in January 2022. Our goal was 100 employees by December. So in that first year, we met that goal in the fall, and as of May 1st, we now have 228 employees covered across 24 participating nonprofits. Blue Cross Blue Shield tells us that we are the fastest growing AHP that they have. And there's still opportunity for you, organizations you know about, to offer a proposal you just need to contact David Slate at Marsh McLennan. His contact information is on the Together South Carolina website, but a lot of organizations are benefiting, and we believe a lot more can benefit from this. We're really grateful for Benjamin and doing the work on this, and Madeline providing the leadership on this so that we can have a healthcare for our nonprofit folks.
Thank you, Monroe. Thank you very much. And I will always call you an immediate past board chair. So anyway, and the healthcare plan is a perfect example of how we all win when we collaborate, because the idea actually came to us from the United Way Association, that they had an interest in doing it, but they weren't quite big enough, so that if we did it with them and the United Ways, we could make it happen. So we're really appreciative of that collaboration. Ben, will you give us an update on all the other health employee benefits that we have put in place in the past year?
Yes. So, all of these employee benefits, and particularly the association health plan, really represent a dream goal, not just of mine, but I think the entire organization over the last over the last 25 years. Together SC was founded with a number of goals in mind, and one of them was creating an association health plan. So I am really excited that we finally gotten to do that. Through the AHP, you can access health, dental, and vision coverage from Blue Cross Blue Shield of South Carolina. We've also been able to add term life, accidental death and dismemberment, and short-term and long-term disability coverage by partnering with Mutual of Omaha. So all of these benefits are available now for our member organizations to access through the association health plan. To that, we've also added over the last year a partnership with Mutual of America to offer their retirement plan options, and they're waiving their administrative fees. So if you're interested in setting up retirement benefits for your employees, employer contribution is not required when you set this plan up, but of course that may be something you want to look forward to in the future as a way to attract and retain quality staff. You can reach out to Blake Meharg from Mutual of America. And then we've also created a partnership with First Son EAP Employee Assistance Program to offer other forms of benefits, counseling, life coaching, outreach for any particular other kinds of needs that your employees may have. All they need to do is, if your organization signs up for the EAP, all your employees need to do is call the number at the EAP, and their wonderful staff will help connect your employees with resources and tools and strategies and counseling, if need be, that they may need to continue to be successful and hardworking staff. And then finally, the public service loan forgiveness program has been particularly beneficial to me, I should say. I am currently waiting to hear back from the Department of Education as to the dispensation of my own student loans. But we have partnered with a company called Savvy, who can help your staff who may be struggling with their student loans, getting them organized, getting the payment schedule set up, getting into the right kind of repayment plan so that they can be tracking those payments properly and counting them towards public service loan forgiveness. If your employees sign up through Savvy, they get a discounted rate for their services and can help your staff make sure that they get their paperwork filed in time and on time. And so we're pleased to offer the suite of benefits to you and our member organizations so that you can offer them to your employees as a way to recruit and retain your wonderful staff.
Ben, thank you. That was perfect. And thank you for all your work to make these offerings happen. If you, as our members, say, hey, we really need this to recruit and retain our people, call Ben and let us know what we need to be working on. Next up, calling all the way in from Jamaica, is our vice chair and board member, Sean Edwards, Solutions by Sean, who is a member of 2024 Summit Planning Committee team. They've already had 2 meetings. Sean, will you tell them where we are with the 2024 Summit?
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. And so Madeline, mentioned earlier that our summit this year was the largest we've ever had. So we want to top that in 2024. And so please mark your calendars for February, not March, February 2024 for our summit. And it will be held in North Charleston. We have a large summit planning committee, and we're all working together to really try to make sure that we bring you high quality opportunities to learn and to network. Registration is going to open in October. We will have pre-summit workshops this year. And so we look forward to announcing those and having you register and sign up for those. We're also looking at several different options for keynotes. We'll plan to have 6 to 7 session tracks and maybe some site tours on Friday. We're looking at several different options in Charleston. And so again, please mark your calendars for February, not March, February of 2024, where you will be able to get great information. You'll be able to network, and you will be able to get a cool t-shirt like the one I'm wearing today. So I'm not sure what our t-shirt is going to look like next year, but this year, this was this year's t-shirt. So be prepared for February the 21st through the 23rd of 2024. We look forward to seeing you in North Charleston.
Sean, where are you calling in from?
I'm in Jamaica.
Jamaica. Love it. Love it. And I love the t-shirt. Those were done by Turn 90, and another one of our wonderful
Yes,
partnerships.
they do it. Turn 90 does an excellent job.
If you need t-shirts, go to Turn 90. And
For sure.
be sure to save those dates on your calendar and include in your budget. If you estimate we have the hotel room rates and we have the registration rates. They're not that much different from last year. So you can budget with those if you need to. So finally,
And stick around on the call because you might win a free registration. So
exactly.
hang on.
We're almost done. We're coming in the home stretch. So Alana, will you give us a quick update on what's next?
Yeah, hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We're nearing the end, so just bear with us for a few more minutes. I am your Membership and Development Director, and I'm here to just kind of talk a little bit about membership and what we have coming up. Membership matters for nonprofits with Together SC because it provides a platform for organizations to connect and collaborate. Being a member means you have access to a diverse network of like-minded individuals and organizations, fostering a sense of community and support. As we have talked about today, Together SC offers valuable resources, training opportunities, and advocacy initiatives that help you navigate the ever-changing landscape that is our nonprofit sector in South Carolina. But to celebrate this, June is going to be Membership Month, and we have a few events planned to help us continue to engage you in your membership. So June 7th, we have the Power of Connection webinar. We're going to put the link in the chat. Be sure to join us for that. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. June 22nd, we're going to be doing the nonprofit cheer event with the Central Carolina Community Foundation. We had it last year at the Girl Scout Leadership Center. This year, it is going to be at Central Carolina Community Foundation. It is up on the website. You can be sure to register for that. That's an in-person meeting, and I think we've got room for a lot of folks. So I hope we have a great group like we did last year. Come out and join us for that. We've talked a lot about peer networks today, so be sure to join one and have your team join them and get engaged and involved in those. If you have a fellow nonprofit friend in your community who is not a member, invite them to join us and be part of this statewide effort. And not last but not least, on this slide, in case you missed it, we have a proud member decal available. I think, Brooke, if you can put that link in the chat, and Ben, you can kind of show on the next slide what that decal looks like if you haven't seen it before. We encourage you to add this badge to your website and share in social media to show your connection and support for Together SC and your membership. I think, it's important the more that we kind of band together and show that we're together, then we're Together SC. And then for the next slide, Ben, as we enter into our third year of peer network programming, as Madeline and everyone mentioned earlier, we're excited about this, the listservs that we're working on creating right now. This will be an invaluable platform that will work to bring you closer with your peers. So that's why I urge everyone to mark your calendars for the Power of Connection webinar on June 7th. We will delve deeper into the exciting venture of the listservs, and Ben will also be talking about our more member benefits. We'll kind of go deeper into those as Ben had mentioned them just in a couple of slides earlier. And then in August, we will be hosting a comprehensive virtual training session focused on best practices, ensuring that each participant gains the expertise needed to make the most of this invaluable service when we go to the listservs. So be prepared to unlock the full potential and connection of this knowledge sharing as we kind of go through the next few months, getting these listservs up and running. and just get connected. So, thank you so much. We're very thankful for your membership and you being here today. And now I'm going to turn it over to Paige to give us some of our closing remarks.
Great. Thank you so much, Alana. Several of you in the chat had asked how to get the decal. Brooke has dropped it in there. Hit the little download button and you've got it to go. Thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you for the great engagement on the chat. Also, I'm just going to put in another plug for those peer networks, that association health plan. It is a great way to make sure that you've got the best healthcare available to your team at a very reasonable cost. As I said in the chat, we were able to improve our coverage and save money all at the same time. And there are not many times that you can do that. So I encourage you to check that out, as well as the many other employee resources that Ben mentioned. And if you've not checked out that comp study, I encourage you to do that as well. It is all part of strengthening our sector, retaining great employees, and helping professionalize our sector as well, and helping people realize that it takes skill and talent to do what we do well, because it's about changing and improving our communities. So with that, let's go to the important piece. And that is our drawing. So Ben, spin that wheel.
I am going to actually turn it over to Alana. Since I've been managing the slideshow, I wasn't able to do the wheel of names.
Okay.
So I'm going to turn it over to Alana and let her bring that up.
Okay. Do you, Ben, I need access to be able to share my screen.
Okay, you should be able to now.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me get it up. Okay. Okay, does everyone see the wheel?
Yes, we see the wheel.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna hit spin. And if you are here before we do, if your name pops up, will you unmute yourself and say here so we know that? Because if we don't hear you, we're gonna spin again. So you have about 5 seconds after your name pops up. So here we go. Ashley Witt, are you here?
I'm here. I'm here, y'all. I'm here.
I was going to say, Ashley, if you weren't, I was going to have to harass you.
No, I am here.
Actually, you have to prove it. You have to show your ID.
What?
All right, congratulations.
Thank y'all.
That is wonderful. Well, we look forward to seeing you in North Charleston next year. So
awesome.
Wonderful. And to close things out, I just want to say thank you, great big thank you to all of the presenters today, those that have helped out. Thank you to all of the different sponsors for the peer networks as well, because that work could not happen at the level it does without your support. And then last but not least, a great big thank you again to Clay Grayson and Grayson Law Firm for sponsoring today's meeting. And with that, I adjourn this meeting and give you back 2 whole minutes or 1 whole minute for your day. Y'all take care.